Hello guys, welcome to my channel Hima Education Made Easy. In this video we are going to study about Python variables. In our previous class we have seen that what is commenting going with Python variables. So Python has no command for declaring variables. A variable is created the moment you first assign value to it. Variables do not need to be declared with any particular type, can even change type have been set. Okay. So here let me say I'm going to take the value of x as 100, and here if I want to see the type, you just need to enter type of the variable. Okay, type in brackets, you need to mention the variable name so that you will be able to get the type. So here it's in terms of integer, it belongs to integer type. So if you want to change the type, you can change it. So whatever the value you enter after giving previous value, you will be able to update the value with that particular thing. So here I am entering RAM as a variable now. So here now I want to know type of x, then I'll be getting it as in the class of string. Okay, so if you want to specify data type of variable, this can be done with casting. So before assigning a value itself, if you want to set a type to it, then there is another possibility also. X is equal to string. If we want to be a value of string, whatever the value you enter in it, either it's numbers or digits, numbers or letters, it will take it as a string. Okay, so now if I enter value x, then it will put it in quotations. Alright, so here you guys can see it came into quotations. Now if I type of x also I want to see what type it belongs to now. So here I will be having a string type. Now I want to have an integer type, so here I am assigning the same x, that 100, but in brackets of integer. Okay, integer of x, then I'll be having a value in terms of integer directly 100. Now if we go with verification of type, I'll be having same as integer. Now I want to have it in terms of float, right? Okay, then I'll be giving a value of x as float of 100. Then what output will I be able to get? So here if I enter the value of x, then I'll be having 100.0. okay, we can define before giving the value itself, we can specify the data type itself. And here type of x is now, it has been updated with 100.0, right? Knowing the type is very simple. So in order to know the type, you need to enter type of the variable you want and just close the brackets and click enter. You will be able to see the type. String variable can be declared either by using single quotation or double quotation. Now till now I have predefined it as a string, right? Float, integer and string, right? Predefined it, we have predefined it as a string. So without predefining it, if you want to enter the value to be a string, then you can do it as x is equal to, in double quotes or single quotes it will be of same. We'll see that. Okay, in quotations I'm writing it as a RAM and I'm just clicking it on enter. I'm getting the value of x to be RAM, that in single quotes. Even if you enter the same thing in single quotes instead of double quotes, it will give you the same output, that is RAM. Okay, and it is case sensitive. In place of small x, if you enter capital X, now I'm going to have capital X as capital X as 10. So now I defined capital X in integer terms, right? So now I want to have the view of print of type of small x comma type of capital X. If I enter it, I'll be able to see first one small letter which represents a string and capital letter which represents as a integer value. Right here we assigned an integer value to capital X. So by this we can understand that it is a case sensitive. Right? Variable names can be defined with different in different ways, but there are some rules and regulations in order to define variable names. So variable name can start with small letter, capital letter, underscore, and in between you can use underscores. You can change the format of letters, that is whether it might be of capital or it might be of small letters, you can use it. But illegal way is you should not start it with numbers, and you should not use dash or minus symbols in between, and you should not give any space in between. So let us see. So here I'm going to define my variable is defining it as, I'm going to define it as Ram. Yes, it's accepting, and I'm going to copy it. Why? Because I'm going to do small changes. So here I'm going to in order to separate my and variables, I'm going to use an underscore symbol. Even then it will take, then I'll start my variable name with underscore, then it will take, then I'm going to start my variable with capital letter M, my variables, even then it's accepting, right? And I'm going to define a second variable, my variable 5, my variable 2, in order to identify it very easily. I'm going to change the name to be Shyam. Okay, so even then it's accepting. So till now all these cases it has been accepted. But what happens if I start it with, say, my second variable of mine as to my variable as Ram? Will it take? No, it will say that it is an syntax error, that is invalid syntax. So here again syntax, in syntax you need to start with small letter, capital letter, or an underscore only. You can't be able to start it with numbers. And now I want to see, in order to separate my and variables, I'm using a dash or a minus symbol in between. Whether will it accept? No. Here also an error is cannot assign to an operator. So here my and variables, these things cannot be assigned to an operator. I want to have a space in order to separate my and variables. What happens, we'll see. So even then it also says that invalid syntax. So here 3 types of syntax which will not accept the Python R while assigning the variables. It should not start with 2, it should not use an operator in between, and it should not have a space in between. It can start with small letter, underscore, capital letter, and numbers can be used in between and at the end, but not at the start. This is what the basic concept is. So here we'll be having multi-word variables. So the next term we defined variables, types, and then we'll be going with multi-type variable. Variable names with more than one word can be difficult to read, right? So here my variable, if I club those things, it's very difficult for others to understand it. So in order to identify those things, we'll be using this multi-word variable. There are several techniques you can use to make them more readable. First one is camel case. So I'm taking it as a comment. Camel case. Okay, in this camel case I'm going to have first word in small letters and next remaining words with capital letters, like my variable defined as jewel. So this how, if you define it, first letter with smaller letter and remaining words with capital letter startings, right? So this how we will be doing. Then this one I'm going to call it as a camel case. Done. So here the problem is, once you enter a value, then you won't be able to go back to the previous lines. Okay, so here I won't be able to get access, I won't be able to edit. If I want to enter any data in the previous line, I won't be able to do it. The next case is Pascal, in which each word is capitalized. So here the same thing, I am going to take it as my variable, sorry, space will not be taken, defined as 12. Okay, so this one is Pascal case. Okay, then we'll be having a final multivariable case, which is snake case. Okay, in which we'll be using all small letters only, but each word is separated by an underscore. So here I'm going to have my variable defined as 12. This how we are going to take it as. In our next video we are going to see how to install PyCharm, which is IDE, integrated development environment, whereas in this IDLE we won't be able to edit previous statements. Every time we need to come to the new statement and we need to repeat everything. So when we install this IDE, that is PyCharm, it's very easy and user friendly to run it. So here whatever the things we are going to write in Python programming, the same things we are going to write it in PyCharm and we are going to execute with the help of Python. Okay, so in next video we'll see how to install a PyCharm and how we are going to access it through Python. With this video I'll be closing the session. Thank you. If you like the video, please do like, share and subscribe.